Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cincinnati Preschool Promise Preschool Chat. We are joined by Beech Acres and their wonderful staff, and we just have a wonderful presentation for them to kind of go through what they do and the things that they have to offer. So, if you guys have a presentation for us, let's just get started. And I know, Don, your name says something else, but if you can introduce yourself and what you do.
Yes, my name is Dawn Merritt, and I am program manager for With All Families that we have over at Beech Acres Parenting Center. So Emily Scharpenberger is not with us today, so I'm going to be doing most of the talking. And if anyone have any questions, feel free to do that. Sydney, am I able to share my screen, or does someone have to give me permission?
Lakisa, would
It's
she
up
be able?
already. Never mind, it's
Okay.
up already.
Okay.
Preschool.
Uh, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, Florence Malone won't be joining us this evening. I will be kind of doing the hosting duties. We wish Flo well. And Don, I will let you get started.
Great. Preschool Promise, thank you for inviting Beach Acres to the table to share some of our wonderful programs that we have over at Beach Acres. I'm not sure who is familiar, but I'm going to give a brief history of Beach Acres Parenting Center. We've been around for about 170 years. And in that time, we served as an orphanage, and we housed our children in the community at our cottages on our main campus over in Beechmont, in that kind of Claremont County space that we use. So at the time, some services, we were doing some services there, but the team decided that they wanted to go a different route and provide some more preventative services for children and family that we were housing. And so we then kind of converted from just Beach Acres to Beach Acres Parenting Center, where we offers predominantly the preventative services, behavioral health services, parenting, coping with divorce, and so on. And the list goes on and on. I'm not going to talk too much about the history. Please feel free to look us up at beachacres.org, and the history will be there. But for the agenda today, just giving you a brief overview of who we are. What we have done for the community. Again, as I said, we've been around about 170 years within the community. And then what we can do for you, Preschool Promise, and the opportunities to be able to collaborate and some of the things that we have to offer within Beach Acres. Next slide, please. So our mission, and I'm going to read it because that's important to Beach Acres. Our mission, inspiring and equipping today's parents, families, and communities to raise capable, caring, and contributing adults. That is our mission statement. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about our vision. A world where all children are nurtured to discover and cultivate and apply their natural gifts. We use our own natural strength parenting for our families. And what that basically is really parents taking a step back and looking at the natural ability that their children bring when they're here. We know that some children are really great at math, and we want to build on that. We know some children are great in sports, and we want to build on that. We also want to create that balance so children know that they can thrive in anywhere. And so with that, we talk about some of our service, which is our kinship connections, and where we serve our families. We serve them in the home, we serve them in the community, and we serve them virtually. As you know, our city has been plagued, well, the world has been plagued with the COVID-19, and we had to pivot very quickly in order to make sure our families were able to access our services, make sure that we were able to support them in a way that was most, conducive for them. We noticed that when we had to pivot, a lot of families were without computers or without devices to be able to connect virtually. So we did have some funding where we were able to provide some of our families with those devices so that they could connect virtually. When the world shut down, it kind of stopped a whole bunch of things. But Beech Acres, we were there. We stepped up to the plate and we made sure our families were able to connect with us virtually. And so I want to take some time to really talk about what our families will experience as while being participating in our services with our kinship connections. So first of all, we have our natural strength parent coaching. Again, that is a one-to-one where we have family specialists who are trained and equipped to sit and spend some time with families in a one-to-one setting to where we can talk about their natural gifts or natural abilities as a parent. That parenting, there's no rule book. There is no parenting one-on-one class to say, turn to page 52 and you'll be able to deal with a screaming toddler or, a teenager who's 16 and they just desire this really cell phone that is just really, really not, something that they actually need. But being able to really just kind of sit and talk with those families and give them the tools. Not to say that families or parents don't have those tools. We all come equipped with some of those tools. That is our natural ability as moms and dads. It kind of just springs into action. But as you can tell, the world is continually to evolve. When I was growing up, we did not have social media. In fact, I grew up with the big computers with the big back to them. And the cell phones, it looked like you had a brick on your, only people who had those were really business people. So it's a little different. And so we want to make sure that parents have those tools to be able to engage their children. We do offer navigational support and resources for families who are in our services. As you know, again, we have been kind of stretched thin with the COVID-19. So resources have been scarce, but we want to make sure that the resources that are available and the new ones that are coming up, we want to make sure that our families can connect to those resources. And so again, our family specialists are